Welcome back to Racing with Jesse Rosinski with Walter. Can't forget Walter and his decrepit back. Like I have a decrepit hip right now, so right
Sorry for standing this week.
Hey, you got to do it. Well, you got to do. I sound like I'm dying after a million technical difficulties. My hot coffee is no longer hot, and my cold coffee is precipitating because of So right now, everything that could go wrong absolutely sucks. But as usual, go over some stuff from last weekend. What do you think? I got a few things I wrote down. I do know that you probably caught the flat track race as well. I think we were actually even talking during it. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But that was good racing.
You usually show. Just going to back off of that one for a second and have a guilty moment myself. Shaheen, he usually comments on there once in a while too. So every once in a while you can catch him on there, and it makes it really entertaining just to hear him commentate on guys that are literally bouncing across the tracks. And the track is flat.
No, thank. I don't want no part of that. Not that one little divot those guys got. You feel it on a bike. Try feeling it on a bike when you're going that fast, sliding across mud. But that has to be a big woo.
At least in a car, you don't feel the actual pads of the caked up stuff. On a bike, you feel every single one of those mud patties.
Yep.
Every single one.
It was good. It was good racing. Indy sucked, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. I've just seen better races this year.
NHRA, don't leave them out.
Yeah, they did good. This weekend they're on. They just keep doing it. The NHRA in 30. If I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it.
NHRA, the bikes were ridiculous. Did you see how many bike runs there was this weekend? Oh. And there was some serious racing in the bikes. I was shocked at how good some of the people were and how fast those bikes are. I always forget how fast they're going until I get reminded of the speeds.
I wouldn't do it. No thanks.
Most of these people, I won't go over too many of them because most people won't know who they are, other than I will go over the top dragster because people are going to know who that is. Scott Neal, he won.
There you go.
For Super Stock, Joe Lisa won, and then Comp Eliminator, Tom Ratliff won. So figured I'd go over those ones since those ones people could know. It was a nice day for it. Way better weather there than it was up north. That's for sure.
Doesn't take much to do that. You guys' weather is something else. Way something else.
Yeah.
Don't want to be part of that.
From last week, you went over IndyCar stuff, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was terrible. Not like terrible, but probably was it was the least fun I had watching a race this year in IndyCar, and Jimmy absolutely sucked, which
IndyCar. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. That's why I printed this off. Last week I didn't have our points numbers for IndyCar. We were talking about it. This week I did. Right now, as of this weekend's race, we have in first Alex Blue at 144.
He's been running.
In a mere second place, Scott McLaughlin is at 141. And we'll go to number 3 and round it out there with Joseph Newgarden at 135. But realistically, the top, I would not count any of the top 7 out of championship run just right now because they're running pretty good. But it also is towards the beginning of the season. Give us time to see that wing. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing I wanted to say was McKay. I had to look for my handwritten note. McKay He led a pretty good amount of laps in that race too. I just wanted to put that out.
VK. No, it's not VK.
Yeah, not VK.
Yeah, VK's been. I mean, he was running really good all weekend until strategy and all that stuff came into play. Like, what is dripping on my notes? Okay, how's there a giant smudge like that? Now I'm confused. But anyway,
it was not a good weekend for AJ Foyt either. Just want to throw that out there. Last but not least.
Yeah, one good. Again, it was just a weird weekend for me. When it came to that, it's just, I don't know. The whole vibe felt off to me. Who am I to talk about vibes in IndyCar? But the vibe was just off. Just didn't feel right.
Yeah. My other thing a couple other things I want to talk about was obviously USAC. They got rained out. We'll leave it there.
Does happen, sadly. More often than not.
Silver Crown did run, even though we'll just say I don't understand how that one ran, but it ran. I wanted to put up a couple notes for that one. Justin Grant, good job. And he also set a record per Terre Haute, the racetrack.
Don't tell Kyle.
Quote them properly.
Don't tell Kyle.
At the Sumar Classic Victory, he set a record of the first ever two-time winner at Terre Haute.
Again, don't tell Kyle.
Kyle Larson's not racing full-time in that series. If he was, that may be a different scenario.
He'd probably win like 4 times in 1 year. He'd win 4 times in one. He'd win 4 times in 1 weekend in 4 different cars and be like, and next. I don't know.
There was another guy. Sorry, I'm trying to read my notes here. Chicken scratch.
That's why I print everything.
Well, I do, but then I also write notes next to it.
So I could stare at it going. I read all the important stuff down.
There we go. So the feature, I wanted to put this out there just so everybody know how it went. The feature was 100 laps. The finishing lineup was first Justin Grant. He started in 3rd place. Second was Jerry Coons. He's junior. He started in 12th. Brady Bacon, which he's pretty good. Don't count him out. Brady Bacon,
last name like that,
and finished 3rd.
How can you count out someone with a last name like Bacon?
Logan Seavey came in 4th. He started 5th, and then Emerson Axum, he started 13th. He came in 5th. So.
It's fine, but
and I'm not going over the rest of the Jack Wagons because I don't believe there's anyone else on there. Anything crazy enough for me to talk about.
I mean, I can hit you up on Supercross. I will say, Tomac did what he had to do, and if Christian Craig didn't have his issues and go down, he would have finished off the 2. He would have, Christian Craig would have finished off the 250 West last year. I mean, last week, if he didn't go down and finish 6th or something, because Hunter was running like 6th when he went down. Like that point difference right there. It's a shame, but at least
I know we already talked about it, but Eli Tomac, if he wanted to, he could have been a force to be reckoned with last weekend if he wanted to. Just judging by his early on driving into practice.
Oh yeah, his heat race, he killed it. And even at the beginning, he killed it. But what's the point? Like I said on Monday, what's the point? Sorry, Tuesday. Thank you, Rain. No, actually, thank you, dumbasses at Fox. But that's another huge thing to talk about. But he did it smart though. Once people started passing him, he didn't try to hold anyone up. Then you start racing him, something stupid happens. Lock up the championship, then he can literally go for broke tomorrow. I want more of the champion. What? See you guys later. Bye. Watch this. You doesn't have to worry more. You can go back on it. Everybody played it smart.
Definitely what he did last race. So.
He did the smart then. The ARCA series.
That's why he has really good sponsorships from like factory type stuff. He can get factory sponsors. Guys like me, Bubba Stewart or Justin Grant.
You guys
People
don't
like that
understand
aren't
big picture.
necessarily along sponsorship, big names with the dealers as much as they are the other
guys-
companies because, well, they're
You-
not necessarily.
You dumbasses don't understand big picture. There, said it twice
I
now.
was
today.
referring to the political correctness. That's what
Well,
I'm
I'm going off of neither. You guys just go until you can't go anymore. Yeah,
That's
smooth,
it.
consistent helps. Yeah, going for broke every lap doesn't necessarily, pay off all the time.
Kyle Larson could fall in category 2.
Yeah, he figured it out after he got fired for being an idiot. That's another story. You were mad.
Anyways, moving
you
on.
were mad. They had no other choice. You forced their hand. The end. ARCA, they showed us the race from the previous weekend. I don't understand why they couldn't air last weekend's race live at 5:30 whenever it started, and they're going to show it today at 1:00 on USA Network when the big network's cameras were all there. I understand when they're out in the middle of nowhere, so let's not do it live. But when NASCAR has everything there for Fox does, I'm pretty sure that's when you can make the exception and actually air the race live, because they always talk about we're doing all of this for viewership. Yeah, then that's why you're taping the races and putting them on the next Friday at 1:00 in the afternoon, which means everyone's at work. No one's gonna see it. You miserable.
I'm definitely confident. They were set up by the time the ARCA race started. They could have definitely
like they had practice, like they were airing practice, there's no excuse why they couldn't. The cameras were there.
Exactly.
You could show us qualifying from everything under the sun and all these practice. Like you can show us. You can give the ARCA series the time of day. All these
house, by the way,
because they're funded and all that. Well, give them a shot to actually be seen.
Yeah, that's half the problem with money for that series.
Yeah, that was dumb. Yeah, it didn't do anything for them. I've always hated that. It didn't help them. But who am I to go and tell people how to use their brains?
Right.
Xfinity Series, I thought Xfinity Series did good. And the Cup race, there were people that could pass all over the place. Was it hard for people to pass? Yeah, but were there people passing people? Yeah, guess what? It's Dover. They normally get strung out and all that, and we had more lead changes in the first. Granted, there was a caution every 12 feet, but there's still more lead changes in the first half of the race than there was last year.
Which is kind of amazing to me. Going out with notes here, missing a page. Anyways, when I was watching the races last weekend, I got this weird sense that as many cautions as we had, you would feel like there'd have been a lot more intense racing per se. I felt like there was not anywhere near as intense racing as there should have been for as many cautions as it was. Just gonna throw that out personally.
Well, Truex was having a very intense day with Ross, because every time he turned around there, he was.
Yeah.
But look at all the guys that are normally quite intense. But Kyle Busch looked good. I'll give him that.
I think Mark's ready too.
Yeah, he's about over. Kurt had his issues and went around. Tyler was gone early, like a lot of the guys that are push everything to nothing could go right for him. Never mind. At least he's not Brad. Brad's just poor soul.
He might as well just give up for this year because he started kind of
when Buscher's running that good, the same equipment, Brad. Except now you have one of the initials in the name of the team. You are financially driven to figure it out already, bro. I think they'll get better. Harrison wasn't a good one, but you're welcome. There you go. I gave you something because you sucked. Bubba did look. Now he was running around Kurt the whole time, so I will give Bubba credit there.
Yeah.
Didn't finish the greatest, I don't think, but I mean, and we can't compare it off of his teammate either because Kurt had everything.
I was gonna say Kurt was
Everything that could go. Hey, and he still actually pulled off almost. I mean, for what he had, I'll give him a respectable finish for every. I mean, that was just. But there's a lot of guys that you expect to be up front that just sucked. I mean, Harvick was up there, good for him. Eric Jones finally closed one out in the top 10. Yeah, nothing dumb happened. He had a lot of good runs get ruined by idiots. So good to see that he held on to a good finish. And now, that's the one right there. To ask you this simple question, because I like to ask people this simple question. If the networks, let's say, pick the start times of the race for optimum viewership, right? Making sure you're tracking. And they can see the rain is coming way more than a week out. I mean, I hate to break it to them. Once Friday comes around, Saturday night, that big blob is not going to go anywhere. Let's say it's going to start raining at 3:30, 3:40. Why would you schedule the start time to be at 3:00 in the afternoon somewhere without lights? If you're putting it on there for optimum viewership and it's going to rain and you're not going to get anywhere near time to stop the thing and you're going to have to go to race, it's going to get rained out. Why would you keep the start time there if it's for viewership when then you're going to move it to Monday morning at some point when everyone's at work and most of your viewership is gone? Like if they're doing it for viewership, I mean, they do it for their argument is like, that's their argument though. It's for viewership. But if it gets rained out and goes to Monday, you've
killed the viewership thing.
Use a brain. Carry on. I drink.
Well, I was gonna say that's 2 instances now where you had legit. I'm gonna be honest and say a complete failure on the person, whoever is in charge of. Hey, we're gonna start at this time. That person has failed twice now, and I don't mean to be rude, but Fox Corporation, just so everybody knows, has their own weather outfit.
They do.
They should
Fox weather.
know. I mean, they could easily just pick the phone up and say, "Hey, Janice, when's it gonna rain?"
And pulled out their phone.
I mean,
the interweb, looked up at the sky.
Asking for work, just call. Hey,
I mean,
it's not that difficult.
Yeah, well, it's for airtime. If you move it up a few hours, no matter what, you're going to get more viewers on a Sunday. Because we can rearrange a lot of our schedules for a lot of things. Like, hey, what?
As long as it's not before noon, you're good. Most people are coming by noon.
Move it to noon start time, 1:00. If people have to come in and catch it late, at least you're getting viewers, and you could get it in well past halfway with how fast they run laps around there.
Well, we're being openly honest.
And I'd rather
start time of noon. It truthfully wouldn't start till roughly 12:17 to 12:19. By the time you get done with all the bull crap.
Well, that's if everything goes well.
And then you go through the national anthem meeting. By the time you start, it'd probably be between 12:17 and 12:19, assuming they go off their normal timelines.
Or they could
fancy stuff just.
Or they could. I mean, everyone loves. Everyone loves NASCAR because you actually still see the national anthem and all of that. They air it now because they don't do it in most any other because they don't want to piss off half their viewership with all the stupid stuff that they.
I think they learned that one last year with a certain drive.
They could do. Yeah, obviously they didn't because he's still everywhere anyway. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't saying that way. I was saying just leave it alone type shit.
But it's same whole train of thought, so you killed it.
Sorry.
But if they could do what they did, during rain delays, because normally they, when they start the race on the next day after a rain delay, they would flip to cameras are on. They're already in their cars. Everything they are ready to go. Like you could do all of that. You could do the invocation and all that. So those cars, so we are straight to drivers. Start your engines, go. Like you could make it very easily so it's that, so you could actually start directly on time. The fans will get to see the flyover and all that. But guess what? Who actually remembers the flyover of the national anthem by the time the race is done? Unless it's like that one girl that did the national anthem for whatever race or whatever that I saw. It sucked. Even Hannah stopped and went, why is she doing that? If Hannah thought it was terrible, and she's normally telling me what they're 9, be nice to them. And she's like, what the? Who's that? I was hoping you were going to tell me. But yeah, all of that, they definitely, like, I just never understood that. That's the second race in just a few weeks where they knew it was going to rain and they did nothing. Like, you actually hurt yourself more than anything when you do stuff like that. Because we all look at the radar, we're like, not good. So didn't do anything between the end of the Xfinity race and right after. So why didn't we do something in the morning?
Well, even
you can flip flop TV.
Michael Waltrip was like, he was kind of like, really? We're sitting here we're not even racing. We're just loop-de-loop.
Yeah, and
we were on Rosie.
And then to run 11, was it 10 laps? I think under yellow. Just
it was 10 or 11 laps.
Yeah, it's gonna go away. Like, no, it's not. Well, we're gonna keep the track warm. Yeah, well, I mean, you can keep it as warm as you want when it's torrentially downpouring. Doesn't really matter how many laps you're running on the track, especially if they don't have lights, which I still can't believe Martinsville got lights before Dover. But regardless, I love the track. They figured out the tire thing again this week was last week was a camber issue. Yeah, just because they run it. I mean, they have the back tire set like that to match the banking in the turn for most surface, which means when you're going down the straightaways, about that much of your tires actually making contact and just getting mauled, which is why you saw all the threading on, like, Kyle Larson's tire. Chase had a little bit of it at one point. Like, there's a lot of there coming undone because, well, that little bit of the tire was taking all the abuse. So it's not a Goodyear issue, like we said. Whatever truck, I mean, it didn't help at Atlanta with what they did to it, but like a lot of the other
people blame things on tires. I'm sorry to say it was not tires.
And you're setting the tire to run like that, so it's touch. I mean, when you get to the straightaway, when it's only like that, the banking, well, you have what tire set to run like that, so it's what the hell do you think is going to happen when it goes to that? Nothing is.
Well, it's like you don't have a straight axle in the back anymore, so you don't keep. Before you kept a degree of flex from happening. Now with four-wheel suspension, that car wants to flex to the back and to the right, it's going to go because everything moves separate.
Yep. But this one, I mean, a lot of it. Again, I don't want them to regulate it and say you can only have this much camber in your. I mean, if you want to take, there's very few things they could take chances on and play with. So, but sooner or later, it's going to come to a point where it's like, guys, like,
it's a setup.
And can we
not like it's a setup, right? Like there's issues with their setup. Like
also NASCAR, I'm not saying to go back to the 5 lug nuts, even though it makes complete and utter sense, because if they miss one, if one of them's loose, the tire doesn't just completely fall. Like Denny Hamlin beat his tire off pit road by about 10 feet. Otherwise, that thing was just near him gone. Like, and I do give the tire carriers, so they're going like this. They drop the jack. There's the guy on the ground going, as the lug was nowhere near on it. It's beautiful poetry in motion. But we didn't have tires falling off every week. When how about you magnetize the thing so they take it off with the gun and it stays in there.
Well, my thing of it
possibly falling off and people losing tires every
every once in a while with 5 lug nuts, with here and there, hear of a guy in the pit crew go, man, I'm not sure. I got all 5 lug nuts.
Guess what? You got a vibration. You didn't get the tire completely coming off.
So my thing of that is at least
the whole wheel,
but the wheel and tire wasn't going to become a projectile rocket and then become a rocket that is then hit by a car doing 100 and some miles an hour and become an explosion. I'm just saying, like,
I don't like it.
I've said 2 times in a row now they've done this, and both times I've said it's not a smart idea.
If there has to be something just to keep the lug in there, that's just. I mean, how many times have we seen them completely just fall off and like it's just laying on the ground? They're going, That's what before they were beautifully, new ones were glued on. occasionally they would fall off, but you know what? You could survive with 4 out of 5 nuts on that tire. When you suddenly go from 1 to 0, it's a bit of a problem. But shout out to the tire. You almost beat Denny off of pit road. How fast did he accelerate off?
I haven't heard anything on the radio yet, but I'm waiting because I have a feeling it's going to be either Kyle Larson, Kurt Busch, or probably Denny Hamlin that's going to say it. He's probably going to say that, don't like this. Don't like this at all. It's stupid. I'm waiting for one of them to lose their mind on the radio.
And all of you people, this one's for you for making me miss it. It's gonna be May, just for not making, just because I didn't see any Timberlake memes on May 1st or the end of April. I'm offended by all of you for not sharing any of those. The only time I want to see Timberlake, and you people let me down. But we got Trans Am racing in Sonoma this weekend, which I think will be hopefully at least a good race. The last one I watched out there was kind of a stinker. No offense to them, but it wasn't even Trans. It wasn't Trans Am. I don't remember who it was at this point, but yeah, I made it through about a few minutes. Went delete. Now it sucked, but it should be a good one. The World Endurance Championship. They're running, they're 6 hours this weekend. First half is Saturday morning, and then they're running the other half very short. At least they're airing it that afternoon. So that's good.
2 hour block, right?
Yeah, something like that. Right around there. The Extreme E Series is in Sardinia. So if you see it on the thing, watch it, because you can't set your DVRs for anything for it, because they're that young, and there's like 6 races.
The Saudi Arabia race?
According to the guide this week I saw, they're in Sardinia. Saudi was at Sardinia. Saudi was the first race. Yeah, that's what I got. I don't care what you got. That's what I got when I looked.
Keep going. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And whatever, again, you got, because that's all the stuff that I know I'm going to be able to find on TV. That's outside of NASCAR and SuperCross and all the regular stuff. Those Trans Am, the endurance stuff, the extreme.
You said Desert Free for the E Series? Extreme E?
Sardinia. That's what I got. At least that's what my schedule said.
We'll check into that.
Everything else lined up. I mean, granted, everything else lined up, and there could be something wrong, and hell, most people aren't even going to be able to catch it because it's just on random times, and it's just, okay, that's a yay. And I think they said that they were gonna, according to it, they were gonna show practice, and then the next day they were gonna do a highlight show. Like, why don't you just okay?
I was going to tell you that I was just checking, because we were talking about the other day. I did check out the updated points list. I haven't looked at it in a while. I wanted to make sure I read it right the last time. I remembered off the top of my head. The first team for Extreme E in points right now is Michaela Alhan Kalunski. And then his partner is Johan Christoffers. Oh, her partner, sorry, is Johan Christoffers. I read that wrong.
They got some great drivers over there too.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say, if you look down the list,
there's good drivers in that.
There's a Baja driver in here. That's how I reckon. I'm like, I know that person.
Hey, perfect spot for them to go.
Tanner Faust.
You saw some of those races. That is perfect for Baja drivers. Very, very good, as they would say. Oh, yeah. But now we can get off of that stuff and move on to the normal stuff. Like,
well, I got a couple other ones too.
Don't
forget F1's coming up.
No shit. I said the stuff that isn't the normal stuff we cover, the random stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Jesus, criminy. See, people, if he would just listened, not nearly as many things would have been thrown while we were in the tool room together at Tank Battalion. And he didn't think, he just killed. And what did you do? I just got out of the way. Not my life to die. But as he's not paying attention to anything, SuperCross, rice-eccles Stadium. Salt Lake City championship for the 250 West is on the line again. It'll take Christian Craig like doing something catastrophic, like him having catastrophic luck for him to not walk out the champion. But I still think Hunter's going to make it closer by the time it's all said and done. He's just been he won 4 out of the last 5. I mean, he's just on a roll. I don't think it's going to make a difference because again, Christian would have to have a terrible race to catch up with how many points he's. It was like Tomac last week and finished in the top 14. You're golden. Right. Like, cool. Even I'd be able to figure out how to do that. And I think he's going to do a lot better this weekend just because, again, he locked up the championship. So I think the 250 race is actually going to be super exciting just because, he can go for broke if he wants to.
Yeah.
Hunter has to race. I mean, Hunter and Christian, they got to run perfect races in the 250s. Tomac can just go in the 450s. Like what I wanted. See you later. Bye. And I think this is probably one of my more favorite tracks, that they put together just by design there. I think they did a really killer job. And I hate those sharp turns there. Right. It should be really good. Again, it's a great track to end it off on, and at least they have that on the line, which makes it super, super exciting when you think about it. Just the mere fact that those two are going to be dangerous to watch just because they have no choice. Which, if you don't, if you have a problem with that stuff, like there's just some, I'm sorry for you, I believe, is the actual phrase for that. Like, cause that's going to be really, really good. And again, I like the stadium. It's been a lot of good racing this year. Am I sad to see it go? Yes, but is it really good? It's been good. And then motocross is going. So, I mean, don't worry. Flat track is going. You still get to see bikes racing if you want to. I'm looking forward to, other things. I really don't want to see it go. There've been a lot of good races there lately. And just remember there, Jason Anderson, if you didn't wreck Malcolm all those races and finish way in the back, we could be having a completely different conversation right now.
Oh, yeah.
For the 30 points or so you gave up just in those 2 races alone. You gave up a lot of points to Eli because you just couldn't stop wrecking Malcolm. First week, maybe. Second week in a row, he made sure you went down and stayed behind him. He drove straight into it. He'd like Ty Gibbs did on dirt bike. Good stuff. That we'll see what happens next year. I think it'll be really exciting as long as no one does anything stupid next year. But Anderson's been on a run. He just had that 2 or 3 bad weeks where it doesn't matter how good of a run you were on. Eli would have had to kill himself.
I think I'm a guy in nostalgia once in a while. I miss the final race of the season being at Anaheim. It was just like a staple for my childhood.
That was put together really good tracks there.
Not saying that this isn't a good track, not judging by the looks of what I seen when I looked at it. I liked it.
Oh, I like what they put together on this one. I just can't wait to see someone go driving through those barriers and miss the turn and go head on into something. That'll be fun. But no, I'm not encouraging people to do that. It's just bad things can happen. Bad things.
The way that the starting gates lined up on this one, the whole shot's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
The whole shot is not going to be only fun for us. It's going to be really interesting for the riders on their bikes. So.
Oh, yeah. I wholeheartely agree with that sentiment. It's going to be good. And again, to see everyone on the 450s just go, that's going to be, I think that'll be game changing because the last 2 weeks, again, he was in conservation mode and it got him a championship. Now, screw it. Watch this. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the Miami GP. First year running it. Thank you, F1. I think it'll be a good race. I sent you the track. That track is definitely something they put together there. And I shared the digital lap on the Facebook page. If you have not seen it, it's there. That was actually pretty cool. And again, first race ever at the Miami International Autodrome, wherever they come up. That's like a $5 word. I love $5 words, but the big one, the Hard Rock Stadium complex in Miami Gardens, took them 36 different layouts at least before before saying this one was good enough, which is kind of outstanding when you think about it. They put that much effort into it. That straightaway is absolutely insane on the back there. That'll be cool. But 3.36 miles for us in the States here, because everything I found, even though it's in the States, they mark down as kilometers. And I hate to break it to you, most people in America are going to look at your kilometers and go, no. So it's 5.41 kilometers or 3.36 miles. For those of us paying attention at home, the race distance 308.326 kilometers or 191.59 miles. And 57 laps long. There's 19 turns, 3 straights. Estimated top speed 320 kilometers an hour, or for us here, 198.84 miles per hour. And 3 DRS zones. I'm excited. I mean, we all know you got to watch out for the Red Bulls and the Ferraris, and George Russell will be somewhere around the top 4 or 5. He always is. I don't know what's up with Lewis. He's figured that stuff out.
Weather should be good as of the last time I checked. That could have changed over this a day and a half since I checked.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be glorious, actually. But it is Miami, Florida, so
that was kind of
that can change rapidly,
real fast.
But NASCAR isn't in town, so you guys should be okay. NASCAR's Miami's far enough away from Darlington. You guys should be okay. NASCAR brings bad weather with them. NASCAR was running in Miami. Yeah, you guys would be screwed because it's just they have to bring bad weather with them. But I'm excited for it. Again, new track, and the sport's growing like a sumbitch here in the States. I know that their Netflix series just got approved for a 5th and 6th season. So
as long as Netflix stays.
And now we got this one's doing their first run. We do the one in Texas, and they're adding Las Vegas to the schedule next year. So I mean, we're going to go from 1 to 3 races a season over here in the States, which is a very good sign for at least its popularity and how good the markets are here. That it's not just 1; they're adding 2 more, which is really. I'm just excited when any racing, does well and prospers and is growing like that here in the States. At least auto racing is doing something. Then
did we go over? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
What?
Thinking out loud.
Stop doing that. Way too early for that. My brain ain't fully on yet. But it's a good thing to see them all going. Again, we all know who's going to be good. I just want to see, how the racing is actually on the track. That's really all it comes down to. But from the looks of the track map, I mean, it should be fantastic. And the virtual lap that I saw was very, very exciting as well. Trying to figure out how that last DRS zone is right there. But I think it'll be a good race. Do I know who's going to be up front? Yes, sadly. But we'll still think put on a good race. No one's been there. So that adds another level of woohoo to all of it. And I just like F1 racing. I've been a fan of it for years before it was really popular here. Did I like waking up that early? No. But at least when I was up that early, I got entertained by some good racing, because when they do get racy, those cars are amazing. It's just actually getting to that point. That's the problem. But should be fun, should be exciting. See what happens. Hopefully, again, the weather holds out completely. And hopefully Lewis Hamilton finally figures something. Hopefully they figure something out in that week off, and he's at least somewhat better, because watching him get lapped from that position was just the damnedest thing when his teammate was running 4th. It's just the part that's killing me. His teammate was running fourth. That's just weird, but overall, good time. I'm excited to watch it. I think I'm going to watch that one. Well, if they give me the time, so I'll be able to watch that one before Darlington. Which again, I don't get why they're starting the Darlington race at what 3:30, something like that.
Again, that goes back to whoever's making those decisions. I question.
Like, what's the point? Like, under the lights. Like, I get it. They're supposed to start during the day and then finish under the lights, not start at 3:00 in the afternoon. So when it's all said and done, how fast they run a lap around that place, the sun will be blinding someone in one of those turns as they're trying. Like, that's about all we're gonna accomplish. But
if what I'm thinking comes true for this weekend in NASCAR, it's going to be interesting.
That's
for weather-wise, because our daytime-wise, they're going to definitely have sunlight issues. But before we get too far into NASCAR, I got two more I wanted to bring up.
Of course we do.
We got an upcoming GNCC race this coming week on the 7th and 8th. So Saturday and Sunday. They'll be in Indiana for ATVs. They do have one upcoming 410 race. That is going to be, literally was just holding the sheet. Way to go, Chuck. Anyway, there's a race coming this weekend. Here we go. Thank you. It is today and tomorrow, both days. We're going to be at Tony's track. We're going to be at Eldora. It's going to be fun for sure. FYI, he did put some more camping in. We got some updated camping maps. I was like, holy smokes.
I'm just excited that I went over all the stuff that we don't normally cover and said whatever you got, and you said nothing. And now here we are about to jump into NASCAR, and he's right in the middle. Wait a minute. I got something. The wheels, my friends, are never on the bus. You don't have to worry about them falling off the bus.
They're near it.
They were never there. They were nowhere near it. They're like Denny's tire. Nowhere near. When it was full steam ahead, we're screwed. But Eldora, historic place. And of course, yeah, Tony added more. I mean, hello, he does still like money. Duh.
I don't think he's had an issue with him, but I mean,
it's just more money, more money.
I really do feel, though, that after looking at this year's schedule really well, I don't think he necessarily was hurt there by NASCAR not coming back. Let's just put it that.
And the
Granted, part of it is the fact that he's Tony Stewart.
The way he treated that track like his baby, and he keeps it doing stuff all the time, regardless. Yeah, there's always something there. People, if you build it, people will continuously come. And well, he bought it, and I think he's done a hell of a job with it. So I have to give.
There was some initial.
There's always headaches initially.
Headaches and pain in the ass rebuilds and stuff, but it happens.
But it's one of those things that had to be done, and he's made it better. So I'm going to say he made it better, and good on him.
And sprints are always amazing at that track. I've never been disappointed in any sprint race I've ever watched in any form of sprint racing. So
that's a fact. Now we can move on to the trucks. Now we can move on to the trucks and NASCAR and all that, because his brain's all over God's creation, which is throwing my brain all over God's creation, which is not a good thing when both like us. But Dead on Tools 200, Darlington again. I wish I could have went full weekend, but her birthday's tomorrow, Mother's Day's Sunday. No way I was getting away with being gone all weekend. But last year, top 10, the sprint race. Sheldon Creed won, Ben Rhodes second, Hocevar third, Crafton, Enfinger, Sauter, Timmy Hill in seventh. Good for Timmy. John Hunter was eighth, Austin Wayne Self ninth, and then Jordan Anderson 10th. Jordan, better do good again, as you just married Larry Mack's daughter. You need to be a winner.
Well, in Jordan Anderson's defense, he started that race in 31st. I'm pretty
I know.
Sure.
I'm just saying, but he got a top 10, so that's a good sign, because he's look at the equipment. Matty D. Yeah, there they are. So that should be good. But Ankrum was 14th. I can't believe saying Zane Smith was 16th and Chandler Smith was 27th. I mean, I think they're going to be vile right there this weekend. And Haley was 20th. So she has some room. She has room to, but again, it was her first time there in a truck. So yeah, it's not known for being the easiest place to start driving at.
When's the last time Matty D drove a truck here? Have you ever drove a truck here before?
He never drove a truck.
That's what I thought.
This is the first ever season ever. It just adds to the crazy. But Ben Rhodes will be good again. We know John Hunter will be good again. Will be better than they did last year. And then, yeah, Hocevar getting third there. I mean, he looked good when I saw him also racing later in the year because I was there in September. He looked good. So he's on my list. Just I think he'll do good. Do I think he's going to contend for the win? Probably not. But is he going to be up there in the top 5-10? Yeah, he should be up there. And obviously, you know, the Smiths. Now I just write it down. C and Z. Smith, Chandler, and Zane. They're going to be up there. They've just been too good all year. You know, and everyone else has just been, you know, hit and miss. Shelton Creed isn't even there anymore. So, I mean, that opens up the door for that. And sadly, I don't even have watch out for Matty D on my list. I just, you know, the equipment isn't there.
Nope.
Nothing. I mean, he went to build. I mean, he's gotten better finishes already than they did, but they're not anywhere near contending for wins as of now.
I mean, how is that
as of now? He's already got as many top 10s as, you know, it had last year in the first couple races, but they've had a lot of bad luck and just part failures and all kinds of just everything that could go wrong. I mean, at least he wasn't like Haley Deegan and burst into flames. I mean, at least he hasn't done that while he was racing. We're just getting yoked out of the truck because fire. But I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be up front. Sadly, he'll get
it's
there.
gonna be.
He'll get there.
I mean, yeah. Matty D, I think I think hoping towards the end of the year. This is the way I'm going to say it. Towards the end of the year, I think he'll have more results that are more to be proud of, I guess is the way to say it. But I think he has an opportunity to come back to Cup next year. And if so, I hope he gets it.
Yeah, let's hope. I hope no matter how long he's down there, that he can get him somewhere where it's at least more respectable, I guess is the word. They're more competitive, so at least he made it, better than when he got there, which seems to be the kind of human
Let's hope he's not to make
that he is. Well, we can always hope for that.
I know.
The way some of these people drive, I'm not going to hold my breath on that. There's some people you watch stuff going, oh, Jesus. But at least Ty Gibbs isn't there. So, I mean, he just doesn't care. Teammate. He just wrecks everyone. Wonder why? Because his last name is Gibbs. Not to be confused with Jethro.
There was a ton of different leaders too last year. I think about it.
Yeah, and again, it's Darlington. And again, I don't think there was a lot of practice. It was just, if any. So they were going out there blind on. Well, it's not necessarily the track you'd like to go out there blind on, but
no.
Good racing. I think it'll be okay. Again, a lot of movers. I mean, Sauter's on, a limited schedule. Sheldon Creed's gone. Crafton and Finger have been, just bad luck has bit them enough times. Stuff that isn't their fault. They're inconsistent. Huh?
Yeah. He'll be good. Watch him.
Him and his dad, both were actually in the truck last year.
That's what I thought. I thought this was the races they both raced.
Yeah. And Todd outran David. If memory serves me correct, from as far back as yesterday, which I know it's a long time ago. But
I liked his sponsor, Todd's sponsor last year.
If he gets some behind him.
Black Star.
Oh, so I don't remember yesterday. So our sponsors, nothing I care about. Hey, someone wants to sponsor me and all this, so keep themselves way out there. I give people enough free shout outs and advertising, things like this. But good racing. Should be an exciting race. Yeah, again, there's just so many factors of people that aren't there anymore. Idiots. Like there's so much that falls into all of it, and there's a lot of idiots. Weather. I think it'll be exciting. We'll find out, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. Just like, yeah, I'm more excited about the Xfinity Series just because of the sheer chaos, and I think there's more trucks that are. Yeah, there's more trucks that aren't on the level, so there's less people that can compete for the win in the Truck Series. I mean, that's just my wholehearted opinion.
That's a
it's not their fault. Yeah, at least there's a few teams in the Xfinity Series that are actually right up there all the time that are actually battling it out every week. So I'm more excited over the Xfinity race than the truck race. And again, I was at the truck race last September. Trust me. I mean, it was good on the restarts, but yeah, and Jennifer Jo Cobb coming around like
I think Cindric will stay out of the wall this time. I think it was
we'll
a wall he hit last year.
But last year, last year the top 10. I mean, surprise. I mean,
no, I'm saying you were talking about the Xfinity. Yeah. I think it was a race that Austin Cindric. Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm moving on. Like breathe, little fella.
I want to make sure you were tracking what I was doing.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I didn't write down his finish because yeah. I just laughed when I saw where he finished last year. Like, that went, good time. But Allgaier won. Barry was second, which should surprise no one. Brandon Jones, Noah Gregson, Hemrick, and now he's in better equipment, I think, this year. So Clements was sixth. Good for him. Michael Annett actually did something and finished seventh. Good for him. Brett Moffitt is eighth. Ryan Sieg ninth. And Alex LeBay rounding out the top 10. That's Alex LeBay. There's one you don't get to see a lot of time, but good for him. Harrison finished 11th. Now you can't. But granted, that was in the 20 car, which means he was actually in good equipment, and he only pulled off an 11th. So don't worry, he will not finish 11th in the Cup race. I'll guarantee you that. But Landon Castle was driving in, no offense to his equipment last year, compared to what he's in now, garbage. And he got a 12th out of it. AJ was 13th. Ty Gibbs was back in 18th, which I don't think is going to be, the case this weekend. And Riley Herbst was all the way back. I wrote down because I know, we all keep hoping that team will do something. But he was 28th last year, and he's just he's about as consistent as a goose.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Feces.
Definitely a good way to put it.
The fecal matter of geese. By the way, I saw a confused goose the other night as we came home, flying like another one in sight, flying all by itself. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be like, okay? I've seen some awkward looking formations. I've never seen one all by itself with nothing in sight. Like,
okay, you brought it up. You said goose. I have to say it now, just because you brought it up. We're talking about racing and speed. The new Top Gun's coming out.
It's not about Tom Cruise. It just hurts my brain.
Well, I know what it is about Tom Cruise. It hurts your brain, but we won't have that conversation.
Oh, I think he hurts my. There's just something about like. I'm sure it's going to be good. It's just a lot of the. I mean, you could like his movies were just going downhill, which is why suddenly they started making so many Mission Impossibles again. It was just, which again isn't his fault necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of actors who have kind of just like you're going, ugh. But
I think he just needs to stick to military movies. He was good at military movies.
I just think he needs.
Sorry, what it was. I mean, there was good movies he had, but then there was other movies he made, and I'm like,
yeah, I think he just needs to keep his. I think he just needs to keep his foot out of his mouth.
Yeah,
and I think we'll be okay. And again, yes, I did see the preview last time. I'm like, oh man,
I like how he showed up for the premiere. Drove himself in the helicopter to the premiere.
Well, I mean, it's got to be good. It's got to be good for something. But yes, I know he has the need for speed.
Sorry.
It'll be good. Again, the preview looked good. See, shout out. He'll never say anything to me though, because I'm pretty sure if the Scientology people hear me even mention his name, it's going to be like I'd be flagged for everything under the sun. But he is their protected. He's their protected one. crazy. But good movie. Again, if you like movies, go watch the damn thing.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to go on the movie.
The people that made the movie, like all the names are like people that produced it, direct. Like it's going to be a good movie. So go watch it. Just don't think of all the movies where you just wanted to punch him in the face repeatedly just to make it stop. Because I feel he's one of those either that's really, really good, or you're sitting there watching the movie going, "Oh, that's it." Like, again, I could watch Interview with the Vampire, his role in there every day of the week, and I'm not even a Brad Pitt fan either. I don't know. Again, like his movies, I either really like or I don't. But why do you think I bought Inglorious Bastards and it still took me forever to even watch things? I was like, what? Yeah, $4, I'll buy it. Took me years to actually put it on, and now whenever Hannah like when watching Glorious Bastards, like yes, because it was actually really good. But go watch it. Hey, I encourage everyone to go watch movies and things that involve things going very, very, very fast. I'm like Ricky Bobby before he thought he was on fire and ran around in his underwear. That's another argument for another day. But it should be a good back on topic. Should be a good. Again, it's Darlington. I mean, it normally leads to really good racing. The only problem is, I think Colleague will be better this year than they were last year just because they have Hemrick now. And I think that's, a good thing. AJ's still AJ, so they have a lot of good stuff going for them. So they're going to be at least up there. I don't think they're going to be like contending just from what their stats say there, but I think they're going to be better than not getting in the top 10 last year. The RCR guys should be good. I mean, Sheldon Creed won there last year in the spring race in the trucks. So like both of them are actually pretty good at Darlington, him and Austin Hill. So that should be a good thing. I think they'll be up there actually, capable of at least contending. Unless something stupid happens because they've just had the worst luck. I mean, they've either doing good or something dumb happens. And
I don't know. I'm gonna have to push for Josh Berry on this one.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I got Ty Gibbs and then Junior Motorsports, all of them, because again, if Michael Annette got a 7th last year, watch out. That guy, no offense to him, he better be like, I don't know how he worked that out with pilot flying because I don't think he earned it. But Junior Motorsports, Ty Gibbs, and RCR, and again, I think Colleague will do better. It's just historically not one of their better tracks. Again, Justin Haley, he did finish 11th last year in the sprint race. So, but they were on the cusp. I think they'll be in the top 10. I just don't think they'll be racing for the win when I'm putting that between Junior Motorsports. Junior, so he just has too good of people. Junior. I mean, Gregson, look what he could do. Allgaier, look what he could do. And then again, Josh Berry and Sam Mayer on a track like this. I just think it fits where they came from. Way too good for them to not be up there. And look what Josh Berry did last year on a limited schedule there. So I think he's going to be even better because he has more experience with the car now. It's not, a couple of races.
Yeah.
And I don't think that anyone besides Ty Gibbs is going to be. I think Brandon Jones will contend. He'll be up there in the top 5. Junior Motorsports, I know I say it every weekend, but they're stacked. I mean, they really, really are with what they have. And just the way it is. Some things will never change. You're welcome, Tupac.
And you hopefully,
Tupac probably faked his own death to get away from Jada. In case no one saw that meme. Because that made me smile too.
What was I going to say? Way to go, Steve.
Hey, you do it to me all the time. You're welcome.
I'm hoping for at least a top 20 finish this time for Jeffrey.
Yeah, last year he was around 23rd, I think.
31.
Oh.
I think last year. 30th.
23rd car then?
31 at the spring race. I think he finished 22nd or 3rd at
all I know is if they gave that kid good equipment,
right,
the world would be so much different. in his career. Like, could be a whole different ball field if they just gave him the equipment
For
consistently.
one season, even, and watch the differences.
Yeah.
Just give him one season.
See what he does. Like, I think that could be game changing. If you can get sponsors and all that for one race, you can get sponsors and all that, put something together for more than one race. And
yeah, I'm sorry.
Especially if he runs that good. If he runs like he did at Talladega, I mean, the sponsors will be happy. Sponsors will, it's a good thing for everybody. It just, sadly, I don't think it'll ever happen. Love to see it, but good luck to him. He put him in good equipment. He proved what he could do. I mean, look how many passes he made on the last lap at Talladega. If they weren't so strung out behind him, that could have ended different, but there was no way he was getting to that car's bumper to do anything about it. And
no, he wasn't going to be able to.
Nothing was behind him. They were just too scattered for. Good for him though. He really did do good, and I wish him the best. I hope he gets better, equipment one day, just at least just give him a year and something good to see what happens. Like, I'm not asking for much, but we'll see. And then it brings us to the Cup Series, the Goodyear 400, which, thankfully the Southern 500 is coming up, and it's still the Southern 500. I wish that they would have done the throwback weekend in September, because I could have made it to that weekend, because it's not someone's birthday and mother's, like, you couldn't just do throwback in the fall. I mean, it's still technically a million degrees there. I mean, you couldn't just do it then so I could see it. Oh no, you have to do it this weekend when I physically have no chance of getting there to see anything. Thanks for nothing, you pricks. But I will say, also, before we get into stats and stuff, thank you, Trackhouse, for that beautiful car. And that beautiful car, if you know what they're basing that off of, and that one, no matter what anyone else pulls off, are the paint schemes of the whole entire weekend to have 2 Dale throwbacks. And very distinctly, you can look at it and go, I know exactly what that is. Like, good on them. Totally, there's just something about Justin Marks. Just, makes me smile.
Well, he's been around the sport long enough
forever
to know the ins and the outs.
He's been around the sport for like 2,000 years.
But he's also been around the sport long enough to understand that he's seen other people years ago, like, wait a minute, they did things that way. Their results were this way. And to a degree, some of those things are still in play and some of them aren't. But some of them that aren't in play still are not necessarily because they sucked. It was because of management issues. But with that being said, I feel like, that was that time frame. Justin Marks, he knows what he's doing.
I feel like, I swear
I wanted to think about that before I said it, because
I swear I heard a speech where someone did that. There's someone that likes to do that in mid-speech too. Watch out. Watch out.
Nothing going through his mind. That's the sad part. Oh, sorry. Anyways.
I have nothing going through my mind half the time. My brain's just scattered all over everything. Every time I wake up, I just look at my DVR and go, what did I miss? Thankfully, this morning, there was no racing, no wrestling, no anything. My DVR was empty. So I get to turn back on Doomsday Preppers, because you know what, for some reason, watching all those people and suddenly going, look how many you were preparing for. Good on y'all. By the way, some of them are actually crazy, some of those people, but like levels of crazy.
Oh, yeah, there's some of them you're like,
bro,
what was in your cereal this morning?
I'm wondering, like some of them are crazy, but still fun to go back and watch to see the levels of crazy some people are. That's what I do. I see whatever I have to catch up on my DVR, and then I just turn on Doomsday Preppers and get a chuckle while I do dishes and everything else. But last year, it's the spring race. Truex won. Larson finished second. Larson seems to, the air last year was not Kyle Larson's friend. Kyle Busch got third. William Byron was fourth. Hamlin fifth. Harvick sixth. So that was one of his bright moments of the season. Chase was seventh. Blaney eighth. Buescher ninth. And then how about that? Our boy Newman rounding out the top 10 in the spring race. Go get him, Newman. Granted, like you already couldn't pass him. Then the aero package last year, you really weren't passing him because you couldn't get anywhere near the back of the bump. I mean, literally, I was at the one in the fall, and the only person that actually pulled away from anyone when they were in the lead was Kyle Larson. Then he got to a certain distance and was chasing Denny down like a sumbitch, and then he got to a certain distance, and it just all stopped. Why? Because there was because the air was like the aero package made it so you got about close, and then you just couldn't go anywhere.
You know, it's funny when there was a man that was still alive that could look quite literally, as everybody would say it, see the air.
Hey, he was a different breed.
We didn't have these aero problems.
Hey, and he had remember he had open face helmets. We could feel the air. He was one with the air.
No one was with the air as much in NASCAR ever as much as him.
Nope.
That man and air were friends.
And then era. It's the air around you. Air around me, you're start having Remnar questions and people will be confused. No one will know what's going on. It's the air around you. Chastain, though, last year in the spring finished 15th. I think he'll do a lot better again, better equipment. This year, no offense. Ganassi's stuff was still good. It was still at least, up there, but he's in better equipment now at Trackhouse with everything. And he
did way better in the fall race. You were talking about Ross Chastain?
Yeah. Matty D got 19th in the spring of last year. Bubba was 21st. Suarez was 23rd. Brad 24th. I think that might be pushing it, actually. The way he's been running and the car's been going. Kurt got a 35th because, Kurt Busch, it's either really good or it's a lot of stupid. I think Truex will still obviously be good. I just think, I don't know what. He seems like a grumpy old man this year compared to other seasons. Again, he never wanted to go to Gibbs, so maybe it's just ripping his soul out of him like it does so many others. But Larson, again, couldn't get around him. Again, the aero package last year sucked. Literally watched the Southern 500. Larson got the lead, drove away from everyone. Anyone else was in the lead, he could only get so close before everything made him stop. And everyone's like, how can we lap all those people? Well, when you're going that much slower, you can pass those people no matter what the air says. You're roughly running the same, and the air is putting a giant wall up, so you can't, especially at a place that's line sensitive like Darlington. There might be two lines around there, but there's one that makes you go really, really fast that people prefer. And where else are you going to drive to get speed? So that kind of sucked for them. But it was still good racing, and I enjoyed it while I was there. I wish Hannah got to see, a bigger crunch at some point than she got to see. But can't win them all.
Right.
And the people there, great facility, great human beings. Yeah. How often have you been to a racetrack? You ask for a pulled pork sandwich. They're like, sorry, we don't have it yet. And then the lady actually comes out of the concession stand to come and find you to tell you that the pulled pork is done and ready. Never saw it. Day in my life. That's not how busy they were up there. So good on them for that. But Trackhouse, obviously, especially Ross, is going to be good this weekend. Suarez has been a lot more hit and miss. But again, I give him the benefit of the doubt. I always have, way more than you ever could. And Chastain's been running ovals for, his whole life pretty much in different things. And Suarez is only still like 5-6 years into that game. He's coming from Mexico and other places.
Sponsors, I hope Daniel runs more towards his fall race for this race than he did his spring race.
Say it's just, again, Trackhouse, I'd put him on there, especially Chastain, just because he's been running more consistent with the equipment. But again, look how many years he drove garbage.
And nice thing for Ross is he just came with all of that equipment. Like everything that came from one outfit to the other, literally Ross Chastain came with it. So it was one of those things where he was already pretty much used to most of the stuff
with the teams and all that stuff.
Yeah.
made it easier.
Kurt,
Again.
on the other hand, I always feel like no matter where he goes,
Oh yeah, he went over great. And again, bad luck's really been his thing. Otherwise, he's outraced his teammate and most everyone in the field. It's just bad luck is just one for bad luck. Sometimes Kurt Busch doesn't seem to have any luck at all. But Hendrick, they should make them. They're just Hendrick's just too consistent and too good this year. No matter what anyone wants to say about Bowman or any of it, they're too consistent. I mean, look how good Byron's running. Chase is always up there. Kyle's always up there. Bowman, like, I'm sorry, but that's just sweep all 4 spots, all 4 of them the first time of teams had all 4 of the drivers win in the first 11 races. I mean, they're just across the board consistent. And
in Kurt's defense, though, the spring race last year,
Kurt Busch. Well, I know I'm saying, like, obviously he didn't finish 35th because he just got outran. I'm not gonna.
I just want to make sure we put that out there because it wasn't. There's a couple of people that had drive shaft problems last year.
I'm saying, but if you're listening to this, and if you actually thought that Kurt Busch finished 35th because he got outran by the whole entire field, you could probably turn this off now. It's pretty solid stuff to think that. I think Gibbs will be good. Sadly, I mean, we just have no choice. I mean, look at the team. Look at who they are. I mean, Denny, maybe Kyle. Like, there's just too many of them, and they eat other teams, which is why, sooner or later, everyone has to, pay the piper. Joe Gibbs seems to be that. And I mean, I have a lot worse things to say about Truex after, just the way he handled Ross at the end of that race, getting all mad at him. And what he came up in front of you. You did not make contact. It was the last lap. You went down and spun out. He didn't touch you. Just because he moved up in front of you to make sure you couldn't get around him when he was clear and the air did something. But it's your job to hold on to the
address the air hit your car. You can't expect another driver to take care of your air. Like, let's be honest about that.
And I did like Ross's post race there. Yeah, you guys seem to have agree to disagree. Like, no, man, what? We were figuring out where we were gonna go fishing. Like, there, thank you, Ross. Yeah. We're talking about where we were going fishing.
Exactly.
That summed it up very nicely how good that conversation went. But again, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, if he hit him and ran him into a wall in the last lap, I get it. Sorry, it's the last lap. Martin would do the same damn thing. I just think that he's had so much bad luck and has been running the last 2 years just the way it went from where it was to where it is now, just like Harvick. I just think he's super frustrated, and maybe he's tired of seeing Ross Chastain on his front or back bumper every week. Because what happens when you guys run into each other once. People run into each other in racing for some reason. They seem to have a magnet, and they're just there pissing each other off all the time.
Yeah.
Look at Malcolm and and Anderson. 2 or 3 weeks, but they just could not help themselves, but running directly into one another.
That's how Stewart and Carmichael was too.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes. But so Gibbs has to be there. I think Eric Jones, if he can, not have bad luck, because most of the races he's finished bad is just tire blowout or just really bad luck. So I think he'll be at least up there.
Fail him. He should.
His equipment hasn't gotten wrecked, stuff like that. He's been running really good, which is good to see for the team. Because no offense to GMS, it's not like they were running away with anything, but to see them and Petty stuff together next with the new car, I mean, at least Eric's been competitive and leading laps in a lot of races.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike someone that happens to drive, say, the same equipment. Let's just put it that way. No, I'm not saying anything nice about him. If I did on Monday, he got his. But, oh, wait, he didn't get any. I'm pretty sure he did terrible. Pretty sure I didn't even waste the time writing down where he finished. It was terrible. You're welcome, Charles Barkley. But I think it'll be a good weekend regardless, just because the track we're at, throwback weekend, so we're going to see a lot of good schemes. Kirk Shelmerdine, and Matt Kenseth going into the Hall of Fame. That was cool to see. So I don't remember the other two. Sorry, guys. I know it's only 4 names. How could you not remember? Well, I also don't remember why I stand up half the time.
Wait a minute, I think I might have taken a picture of that screen actually. Hold on.
But
My
good on
phone.
them for going into the Hall of Fame. Matt deserved it. He definitely did for, former champion, won all kinds of races, generally all around a very, calm, cool, and collected guy, minus that one time at Martinsville. But in his defense, Joey had it coming. I mean, wreck him once, okay. Wreck him again when you're already in the playoffs and he's leading, okay. Wreck him a third week in a row when he's running up front and needs to run up front to get the playoffs, and you wreck him, you're gonna get T-boned. Now Matt's saying that his brakes didn't work right, but terrible excuse. But I mean, you get into me that many times in a row when you're already locked into the next round, and don't just move me, but completely screw me. I mean, sometimes you just forget to take your foot off the gas. Like Ty Gibbs at Richmond to his own teammate. Sometimes you just forget to take your foot off the gas. And this one was like, at least, because he knows if he went after.
Fortunate. I'm just gonna put it like that.
If he went after Joey, and tried to punch him in the face, I mean, Joey's team would be right there to, maul you, because that's what Joey's team is there for. To save him when he does stupid. He's been less stupid. He's been less stupid lately. I will give him that. At least he finally figured it out. Let's not go out of our way to piss everyone off. Like, you don't say. Whatever gave that away, genius? You mean you should try to not irritate everybody? Good form. Good form. You don't say. What the gave that away, genius? If you don't, I don't know, let's say wreck someone coming out of the last turn on the last lap at a Fontana and put them into a wall going way faster than they should go into a wall at that angle. Maybe you won't see him walking down pit road and going, hey, he's going to hit him. He's going to hit him. He tries to talk. Kyle just swings. Man, he's going to kill him. That's not a happy walk. But I'm about to punch this guy in the mouth, and I don't care what happens afterwards. Walk. And it happened. Yeah, but Joey's been doing better lately, so good on you, Joey. Maybe it's because, you're older now, kids, like those things, I mean, he did get walked all over for a little bit there, but I mean, he let people walk all over him. And he got put into a situation where he shouldn't have been driving the 20 car anyway, which is why people drove all over him, because he was not ready to be in the sport yet anyway. At least the Cup Series. He wasn't ready. It's not like someone died. You could have found someone to fill other stories there. But I think it'll be a good weekend of racing across the board. Again, Tomac won, so watch out for that. F1, I have nothing because except Ferraris and Red Bulls are going to be good because, they're good, and there's nothing to go off of because it's the first time. This is the race that first time ever there. So we literally have nothing except for Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, if he can make it out of the first lap. He just has terrible luck. Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez. Watch out for those four guys, and Russell will be somewhere lingered in the top 4 or 5, and Lewis will probably be somewhere nowhere near lingering in the top 4 or 5 just because he hasn't done diddly squat in a while. And guess what, NASCAR? There's weather apps everywhere. But we put our big boy britches on and tell the networks we're not going to have any fans to watch it on Monday. So how about we kick the start time up a few hours just to
right. And then I like how when they replayed it, literally checker flag, boom, show's over.
I mean,
you get to hear anything.
It was good. I got to see it all.
I know, but I'm saying when I watched it on Monday though, cut off. I'm like, what the?
Oh, well, yeah, right away it was gone.
Hey,
I tried to record. I set it on to record, and for some reason it suddenly picked up on right before the red flag. The recording didn't even start until lap 25, 35. Play. They're coming to a green flag. No, there's nowhere to rewind. You guys, I know nothing was going on long enough, sport-wise, that you cut off that nothing goes into that many overtimes. That was on the
Right.
cool. Thanks for picking it up like 7 minutes before they turned it off from rain. I appreciate that. Granted, thankfully, it's not like it lasted long. But yeah, I think it'll be a good weekend. I just, for NASCAR across the board, hopefully everything doesn't suck. Hopefully my DVR cooperates because against her birthday tomorrow, which means I'm probably going to be in Wilmington very early because she wants to do things. Then I'm going to have about 12 seconds in between while we're looking at dogs and she's doing some schoolwork to try to watch whatever had to be recorded. So then we can go and have her birthday with her family, which means I'm going to be. And trying to read all kinds of stuff for next Wednesday. Yeah. I still have no idea what I'm recording on the other show today.
It happens.
It's only 10 o'clock. But it's still early. She'll be up soon, so I get 2 hours.
I'm going to deal with tires.
Yeah.
Not
Don't have to deal with that, thankfully. Yeah.
Finally got my wheel.
Hey. Big wheels, tiny wheels, gigantic wheels. Thank you, eBay Motors, for the commercial. Hey, eBay Motors.
My mom thought it was a truck wheel yesterday when she walked in. She goes, who's that belong to? I went, my car. She goes, you sure? I went, yeah, it's that goes my question. She goes, that's awful wide. I'm like, yeah, it's a 10.5-inch wheel. What about it?
Insane. But anyway, enjoy all the racing. Thanks for watching, listening, however you're doing it. Don't forget to share it out. Whatever you're on, Good Pods people, I appreciate you. Thanks for getting us up on the list. Keep listening and telling people and getting it farther up that list because that does help. And we appreciate it all. Again, we might have missed some racing this weekend. There's it's hard to keep track of all of it that are written. Some of them are terrible at putting out schedules or any time they're actually doing anything.
Some of those series, if you're not at the track, you're probably not going to have much for information.
Yeah, so we hopefully didn't miss anything, but make sure you check out, if anything, the F1 race and SuperCross, because I just got a feeling that now that the championship's locked up, it's going to be get the hell out of my way mode because he doesn't have to conserve anymore because, well, what's the point? You got it. Winner.
You'll probably see a couple guys do that too in NASCAR this weekend. All or nothing.
I mean, a lot of the guys have to, but I'll be back on Monday again, unless Mother Nature happens. Then I'll be back on Tuesday because I love y'all, but I'm not going to catch up on the race and then turn around and go, nah, well, I already got enough stuff I have to catch up on Monday, let alone if they do any kind of racing because they suck. So I'll be back Monday or Tuesday, weather pending. He'll be back next Friday. Don't forget to watch all of our other shows. They are exciting. Just search my name. They'll all pop up. And be good to each other. That sounds about right to me. So until Monday, my friends, enjoy the races. Peace.
Peace.